Ananta Samsara Samudra, the seemingly endless ocean of samsara or suffering. And the verse translates, salutations to the sandals of my Guru, which is a boat which helps me cross the endless ocean of life, which endows me with the sense of us have been feeling stuck in the same storming and raging ocean, being unable to navigate ourselves and lost in the overwhelming vastness of suffering that surrounds us during this pralaya, the great deluge. Our loved ones are dying due to the pandemic. Our homes are being destroyed due to the natural institutions are crumbling, and the whole of humanity are in dire need of hope. At this time, the Supreme Concept of Hinduism, the incarnation of the cosmic love and compassion, having taken the spiritual superconscious breakthrough of the whole of humanity, is manifesting Devi Parashakti, the cosmic mother, in guiding and healing the whole world, as literally the boats that Devi Parashakti is herself manifesting through the Nijavatara and answering each and every one of our prayers, granting boons, healing us, manifesting miracles, removing all of our pain and suffering. And Devi has not just attended to us individually, but also as a humanity, as of humanity, in the form of revelations of profound sacred secrets of Sanatana Hindu Dharma, and by showing us the future regarding global issues which have not yet surfaced to common knowledge. In this segment, we will be elaborating on the statistical, scientific, and scriptural references of each relation which has manifested precisely as the same guidance emerged from Devi Parashakti, for us to imbibe deeply and to start following as Devi Parashakti continues to protect us until this storm ends and we are safely harbored at the shores of our consciousness. So now let us enter into the segment and understand what Devi Parashakti has revealed. Let us look at what Devi has revealed as the 8 methods to protect yourself from COVID-19.
Parameshwari Meenakshi, Parashakti Meenakshi, இங்கு எழுந்து அருளினோம் எல்லோர்க்கும் ஞானமும் தன்மையும் தன் கைலாசத்தின் சுவாமினியாய் பரமசிவன் கிரகத்திருந்து நம் அனுக்கிரகத்தினால் நித்யானந்தன் விக்கிரகமாய் மலர்ந்தோம். தர்மார்த்த காம மோக்ஷம் எனும் புருஷார்த்தங்கள் நாளும் பொங்கி மலர்ந்திட வந்தேன் இங்கு. தியானித்து என்னை பிரார்த்தித்தல் ஒன்று, சமூக வலைதளங்கள் மூலமாய் என்னை எங்கெல்லாம் என் மகமாய் வடிவத்தில் நான் குடிகொண்டிருக்கின்றேனோ அங்கெல்லாம் பூமிதித்து என்னை வழிபடுவது 3, நெஞ்சில் மஞ்சள் தடவி சாரருந்தி தினந்தோறும் என்னை தியானிப்பது 4, நிர்விகல்ப நிலையிருந்து நிறைத்து உயிர்வது 5, சிவ பிரபஞ்ச பெரும் நிறைவான பூரண மனத்தோடு வாழைப்பழத்தோலும் வெங்காயமும் குதிகாலில் வைத்து பத்திட்டிரையில் அடங்குவது 7, ஸ்மரணையில் நினைப்பும் மறப்பும் அருந்த உணர்வு ஸ்மரணையில் அகம் அகம் என ஸ்புரிக்கும் அருணாச்சல ஸ்மரணையில் ஆனந்தஸ்பது 8, கொரோனா கொடுந்தொற்றின் பயமும் கொரோனா கொடுந்தொற்றின் மயக்கமும் வாழ்வீர்கள் வளத்தொடு நல் ஞானம் யோகத்தொடு நாமே நிம்மோடு நானே நீயாய் நீயே நானாய் நல்வாழ்வு வாழ்வீரும். கொரோனா உங்களை எட்டவிடாது காப்.
Let us look at the translation of the Parashakti revelation. Oh humans, don't be scared of the deadly infection of corona, meditating on me. Surrendering to me through social chest, drinking beet juice, and meditating on me every day. Doing the Ajaba Ajaba of the cosmic sound, Shiva, 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 with complete mind, applying banana peel and onion in the heels and going to sleep. Being in the state beyond any remembrance or forgetting, in the Arunachala Spurana that blossoms as aham, aham, in the state of Ananda Spurana. Everyone who thinks on me through these 8 ways, they will not have the effects of corona. They don't have fear and delusion of corona. You will live with prosperity, with wisdom and fortune. Me with you, you as me as you. You will live good life. Even if you do one of these 8 ways, I will protect you. Corona will not reach you. So now let us look at each of these methods, this revelation, made to protect humanity. The first method that they is praying and meditating on the Parashakti. And science has controlling anxiety, promoting emotional health, enhancing self-awareness, lengthening the attention span, and it may also reduce age-related memory loss. And a study published by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services has found that meditation has a direct impact on our physical as well as our mental health. And another study by Cambridge University Press re-necessity of meditation during times of crisis such as COVID-19 by providing social support, by lifting the spirits, by helping you cope with difficulties. And a September 2015 report published in Health Psychology found that when researchers followed 191 people with congestive heart for 5 years, they found that those who reported, and people with major depressive disorder or who report high levels of religiosity, which includes daily religious experiences, generally become more optimistic than their peers. This was found in a study published in July 2015, Depression and Anxiety. So now let us listen to what this as a video explaining how the avatar himself has demonstrated the power of meditation on our brain.
Scientific researches to derive evidences for meditation and healing through meditation. Dr. R. Murli Krishna, President, COO, Integris Mental Health and James L. Hall Jr., Center for Mind, Body and Spirit, Oklahoma in US, and his invited Nithyananda to derive scientific evidences for meditation and the state
willing to undergo some scientific investigation of the meditation process. He very cheerfully agreed without one complaint. He went for 3 repeat sessions for PET scanning and 3 repeat sessions for quantitative EEG sessions. And these are really not very easy tests to go through. It requires a lot of patience and a lot of willingness to do that. So we did that. Because if a meditation process is doing something to your brain, that. And we found some.
In PET scan, they inject a radioactive dye which goes and sits in parts of the brain that are active. In the normal, non-meditative state, the brain is very active. And when we are seeing someone, the rear end of the brain, the visual cortex, is very active, as shown in the diagram.
Usually the brain is so active, there are 100 billion brain cells there. But what meditation does is where you have reasoning. Here are some of the brain scans I'm going to share with you. This is alert, non-meditative state. The second one is 30 minutes into 30 minutes meditation. Look at the frontal lobes, how they light it up. They light it up big time. 60 minutes of deep meditation, and here is a deep, deep level of meditation where it lights up significantly right here. Right in the middle. Probably 1.5 to 2 inches deeper. Swami was inside, and that's last part of that Swami showed. But this is something interesting. There is something called dopamine, which is a chemical our brain is involved in. Dopamine is produced mostly in this area. And when you have any pleasurable feeling in your body, it is mediated through dopamine. It's a neuroreceptor. It's a chemical that transmits messages of pleasure. Basically, evokes. Same thing is with visual pleasures you have, people, beautiful sceneries, nature, whatever gives you eye, have the potential to create our own dopamine in a big way. So I named it, for lack of a word in the past, the D spot, which is the dopamine spot. If you can discover your D spot, you got it made in life. The D really stands for divine spot. The D also stands for delight and the dopamine spot. What's also interesting is that he could at will go in and out of the states. Though I want to share with you, there's so much more talk about physiology of mind in our own lives. Not only a sophisticated knowledge, but these things have application in daily life for all of us.
Nithyananda's system of free healing, known as Nithya Spiritual Healing, has been baffling the medical world, curing diseases from migraine, which conducted on Nithyananda's neurological system can be found in the book Mystic Phenomena, Scientific Data.
And now let us understand what the Supreme Concept of Hinduism has revealed as the power of puja, how puja is the best. Let us watch that video.
Is the best thing in your life. You are tortured, you are abused, your divine rights are violated. If you are inspired to do yoga early morning, Brahma Muhurta time, and puja, sit that 30-40 minutes and melt down to bust your value. Prayer is the bring down. Prayer to Paramashiva. In yearn Paramashiva, nothing can be compared to that to bust your stress. I tell you, every day puja is a everyday puja. The kind of the stress-free life you will live, I have seen the people who have the habit of Nitya Puja live long, not just long, happy. Puja, that gave me all the best things of life. Everyday puja, relating with the deities is the best stress buster. Touch the deities, do decoration, dress up. Even now, my best time of the day is when I sit with my deities. When I sit with my deities, talk to them, intensely pray, deeply connect, and you do not God landing in physical deity form. Never underestimate the power of Archavatara. The Archavatara is equivalent to living avatara. Living avatar is literally living Archavatara. Is a piece of God. Literally.
Surrendering to Devi Parashakti through social media. And during the Akashic readings, Devi Parashakti gives us the opportunity to connect with her through various social media platforms and attends to us individually to our prayers and showers us with blessings and food. Let us now see how we can connect to Devi Parashakti through social media. Kailasa's SH YouTube channel. You just click the join button next to the name. And then once you've done that, you can go ahead and ask your questions during the live Parashakti Akashic readings in the comment section of the live video. You can follow that. Once you have done that, you can ask your questions during the live Parashakti Akashic reading in, again, the comment section of the video. Nithyananda on Twitter. And once you've done that, you can ask your questions in the reply section of the tweet with the hashtag #AskTheAvatar. Next, you can connect with Devi on Instagram. So you can, and you can also lastly connect with Devi Parashakti through WhatsApp. You can visit kailasa.org, WhatsApp chat box that pops up, and you can ask your questions here in the chat. And all of these methods are a simple way for you to connect with Devi Parashakti. All you need to connect with Devi is just your sincere devotion to connect with her. Now let's watch a short clip of Devi Parashakti blessing people.
காளியின் ஆட்டத்தை ஆனந்தத்தை ஆனந்தத்தொடு ஆடிய ஆட்டத்தை கண்டோர் உயிருக்குளெல்லாம் இறங்கி குண்டலினி உயிர்ப்பிக்கச் செய்து மாய மனத்தின் இருளை அகற்றி மாயம் அழித்து மங்களம் பரமசிவ சக்தியும் அளிக்கின்றேன். மனமாயை விடுத்து ஒரு பதத்தை பற்றுங்கள். நித்யானந்தமாய் நிஜாவதாரமாய் வந்துதித்த என் பற்றி வாழ்வில் எல்லா நலமும் பெற்றிடுங்கள்.
When you connect with her as a method to protect yourself from COVID-19. Devi reveals that wherever I am residing, worship me by doing the fire walking. Fire walking is an alchemy science that has revealed our rishis and munis have been adept and in every field, whether health or keeping the society safe. It's highly scientific and directly useful to the life. Coronavirus will not affect you at all because of that. Fire walking time, the small blisters you get just shoots up the power to protect yourself from any virus or any problem. It's like, and especially it is very it will not work on you. It will not affect you. And don't worry, it is a traditional way of making you immune. Actually, it's a traditional vaccination process. It's a fire with the will be awakened. In that peak altered state of consciousness, will first awaken, trigger the detox system, and then walk on fire, the 11 feet fire pit. As if you do for one fire and do this traditional fire walk, you are absolutely protected from coronavirus. No need to panic. Traditional vaccination, traditional, natural, organic, no bad side effects vaccination is the Hindu fire walking. So now let us watch a short video on the science behind fireworks.
All these transmutation processes, awakening the whole consciousness to your whole body, is what I call transmutation processes. Some parts of your body becomes insensitive to the existence because of the job it is doing, like a feet. Because of the continuous walking, it becomes insensitive. Your cheeks, how they are sensitive, they don't become they lose sensitivity to the reality. But for the complete Kundalini, experiencing the reality and ability to experience the higher consciousness, that is the reason we have the process of
short video of the Supreme Concept of Buddhism himself doing the fire walking in Tiruvannamalai. We can move to the next video. We can move to the next video. Yes, we can move to the next video. Let us now watch the Supreme Concept of Buddhism himself doing the fire walking in Tiruvannamalai.
உத்தமத்தியே சத்தியம் காத்திடும் உத்தமத்தியே சத்குருவாய் வந்த நித்திய தாயே வேதங்கள் வணங்கிடும் ஆதியே ஜோதிமலையிலே அவனியை பேணும் ஞானமும் நீயே அக்னி வடிவிலே அருள் புரிந்தாயே தீனிலே பிறந்தவளே நித்யா தீயே நித்யானந்தேஸ்வரி தீனிலே வந்தாய் நித்யானந்த தர்ம மண்ணில் வென்றிட வந்தாய் கர்மங்களை கொண்டிட வந்தாய் நித்யானந்த தர்ம மண்ணில் வென்றிட வந்தாய் தீனிலே பிறந்தவளே நித்ய ஆனந்த தீயே நித்யானந்தேஸ்வரி
Let us now look at some of the science behind the fire walking as according to modern science. In this study that was conducted by the U.S. National Study of Medicine, the National Institute of Health, it was found that the Those who participated in fire walking had increased levels of happiness and lower levels of fatigue compared to those who did not participate in fire walking. The next method revealed by Devi Parashakti is to apply turmeric on your chest, drink neem juice, and meditate on Devi Parashakti every day.
It is not, I'm not talking from air, I'm talking from ground. In Biddi, before we came to that land, 30 borewells were dug, no water. Now, from the day we came till now, we have water for 10,000 people to pouring. Pouring. Karumari's grace. Us, we know biology, whole biology things. If you are having bitter relationships in your life, drink bitter neem juice every morning, the problem will be solved. Understand, if you are irritated, even if you don't react, even if you don't talk to people, you release that kind of vibes. You will see, you release sweet kind of vibes. Take neem juice, you release healing, compassionate vibes. A woman who applies neem powder and takes bath, who applies turmeric powder and takes bath, is equivalent to Karumari Mahamayi. That neem paste and turmeric powder, because she will be manifesting that same vibes of Karumari. I sincerely recommend neem paste and taking bath, applying haritaki powder and taking bath, applying for women neem turmeric paste. All four can be used by both all genders. That is different. If you want specific, haritaki and basma for male body. Understand your whole biology things. Working on whole biology change. So, now this is ajapa ajapa. Think Mahavagya. With the understanding your biology things. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Blessings to
Now that we've understood the benefits of neem juice as let us look at what modern science has found as the last few decades. It has been shown to be a potent immunomodulator agent that can modulate the activation of T cells, B cells, macrophages, neutrophils, natural killer cells, and dendritic cells, which are various immune cells, and can also downregulate the expression of various pro-inflammatory cytokines and chemokines. And this was found in this was published in the National Center for Biotechnology Information in the U.S. on the health. We can move to the next slide, please. In an article published for this purpose. And it was also reported that turmeric and neem are effective against coronavirus, according to a KGM study. And the next method to protect yourself from COVID-19 is with complete mind, applying banana peel and onion to the heels and going to sleep. And this is how you can do it. You can just put the banana peel or onion on the heel, put a sock over it, and you can sleep like that. And this will detox your entire body and, of course, protect you from COVID-19. Medical Daily has published the benefits of onion, which it states that onions contain a high amount of sulfur compounds, which not only give onion the recognizable smell, but also they are powerful detoxifying agents. And with more than 100 sulfur-containing compounds, which are what cause the eyes to tear, onions can help prevent and treat from diabetes to heart disease with daily consumption. And it's very well known in Ayurveda for its medicinal uses, the primary purpose of onion. It's stated that compounds from onion have been reported to have a range of health benefits, which include anti-carcinogenic properties, antiplatelet activity, antithrombotic activity, anti-asthmatic, and antibiotic effects. And the next method to protect yourself, touch state, filling with eternal bliss by the Supreme Concept of Wisdom. You can watch this video now on the science of unclutching as revealed by the Supreme Concept of Wisdom.
like Dakshina Murti. In the lower level brand, the brain is the organ which controls our whole physical being. Once our brain has been imbalanced, it will then transmit that imbalance. Thought forms are pure energy that have the ability to influence people and everyday events in life. May be measured by such instruments as we think, and as our mind is never still, we may be compared to perpetual power generation. Fear produces nervous disorders. Anger produces headaches and violence. Confused thoughts produce congestion and ill health. Depression causes cancer. Our thoughts generate it can be detected by sensitive equipment. Surprisingly, thought forms are shaped by the thoughts themselves. Each of us creates hundreds of thought forms every hour and release them into the environment. Although we cannot see them, the thought forms have as real an existence as any other form of energy. Most people can sense others' thought forms, and a continuous energetic exchange happens between people about which we are usually unaware. This also explains why we sometimes take a sudden liking, dislike to a certain person. Thoughts are like bubbles in a fish tank. Just as bubbles in a fish tank rise from the bottom, our thoughts also. When one bubble comes and reaches the surface of the water, continuous stream. But our mind is not a continuous stream. There is always a gap between two thoughts. Like the bubbles, we also experience a neutral space between two thoughts, between two God. Since the gap or the neutral can form a shaft, but there is always a gap between two thoughts. In the forest of northern India, the hunters trap the birds using a trap. They tie a rope between two trees. The rope is the shaft that we create by connecting two thoughts. In the middle of the rope, they secure a wooden stick. The stick is our mind. The rope is tied at the midpoint of the stick. When a bird comes and sits on the stick, the bird's own weight turns the whole stick upside down. It turns topsy-turvy. The moment it turns upside down and loses its sense of balance, it feels totally shaken and tightens its grip on the stick. It simply holds onto the stick as if we drop our mind, we might be lost. We might lose our identity. Because it is hanging upside down, it thinks if I think that we are unclutched, independent and illogical thoughts, we might be lost. If the bird lets go and relaxes, in the northern India, the hump is a shaft that with two thoughts. In the middle of the rope, they secure a wooden stick. The stick is our mind. The rope is tied at the midpoint, turns the whole stick upside down. It turns topsy-turvy. The moment it turns upside down and loses its sense of balance on it. Similarly, we connect thoughts and form a shaft out of it and live in the fear that if we drop our mind, we might be lost. We might lose our identity. Because it is hanging upside down, it thinks if I unclutch from this stick, I will fall and die. It's similar to the fear that if we start trusting that we are unconnected, unclutched, indeed flutter to balance for a moment or two. When it leaves the stick, maybe for a few seconds, it will fall, but then it will adjust itself and start flying. In the same way, We hold on to whatever we think is our identity and security, our education, our mind, our life, our relationships, or our bank balance. Ultimately comes to remove we can become a Paramahamsa. That very moment we can be liberated. And in the tallest branch of the tree, there is a golden bird sitting unclutched from everything in bliss, like Dakshinamurti. In the lower level branch, there is a small bird which jumps from here and there to various branches eating fruits. When it eats a bitter fruit, it feels bad. Whenever she eats the bitter fruit, she sees the bird which is looking above silently like Dakshinamurti and feel like that bird. But unfortunately, when the same bird, when it eats tickling between branches, eating bitter and tasty fruits again and again, one day as a small bird flies up higher, and as it realized that he and she are the same, there is no difference between them both, and realizes her origin Paramahamsa. This moment, trust yourself. Don't bother about losing your identity. Just trust yourself and let go of your identity. You will immediately become a Paramahamsa and be liberated. All you need to do is to trust that you're unclutched. Dropping the conclusions you can't be transformed is unclutching.
Now, when you think of unclutching, you can also spend a few moments in your day experiencing this sign. Sit with your head, neck, and spine, and this rhythm of unclutching manifests in you, and chant the Mahavakya Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. The next method revealed by Devi Parashakti is to do Ajaba Ajaba, the cosmic sound Shiva Shiva Shiva. And a study conducted by the U.S. National Library of Medicine has shown the benefits of chanting it of the Ajaba Ajaba to the vagus nerve, which is used as a treatment for depression and epilepsy. And a study conducted by Dr. Masaru Emoto establishes that human intentions, words, or thoughts can actually change the very molecular structural formation. Interesting research clearly depicts how when the water is being exposed to positive sound vibrations, the molecular formation in the water changes to a very pleasant formation, whereas any negative sound or vibration can disfigure, distort, or disintegrate the water. Example of the structural formation of water when exposed to positive sound vibrations versus negative sound vibrations. We can see that in the next slide. We can go back to the previous slide. Yes. So you can see when it is exposed to positive sound vibrations like passion, words like thank you, wisdom, and vibrations like heavy metal music, or words like I will kill you and you fool, structure. Versus when negative sound vibrations are used, it becomes disintegrated. So you can imagine what happens inside of your body, which is composed of. So as you partake in these last two methods, the unlike.tv/minutes for peace, and be a part of this initiative. And Supreme Concept of Buddhism has revealed that if 10,000 people can do this for just 3 months, we can give such a powerful superconscious breakthrough to the whole of humanity. Because all of us are interconnected. We are not always. The bliss of you untouched, that's what the Supreme Concept of Buddhism has revealed about the initiative. So you can sign up your minutes for peace at kailasa.com. Let us look at the last method Devi Parashakti revealed. Being in these states beyond any remembrance or forgetting, the Arunach blossoms as aham in the anonymous. So constantly being due for COVID. Each of these methods are individually powerful enough for taking and ensure that you are staying safe and meditate upon Devi Parashakti. In this next segment, understand some of the ways and methods that we can pray to Devi Parashakti. We can meditate, worship her divine majesty. We'll be entering into the offering segment now, where we will understand some of the various offerings that we can make today. And
Nithyananda, and welcome back. Now see the various traditional offerings. In the Hindu tradition, the offerings to the divine are made as a pure gift of love, devotion, and oneness, and the offerings a pure expression of the sacred sentiments of love, devotion, and oneness. And when an avatar lands, the offerings are purely a part of the grand Leela played out only for the purpose of enlightenment. And now let us look at a Dhyana Shloka on Devi Parashakti as we remember her beauty, splendor, and sacred offerings. So let's Mula Agama Manonmani Dhyana Angahimabhushana Vichitravasanam Syat Tungama Kutojvala Manonmani Swarupam. The translation for this verse, it says, moon-like face holding the Veda books on hand, fire in eyes with lotus flower, gracing and blessing hands, and one hand with japamala, beautifully decorated with jeweled ornaments and wonderful clothes and shining crown. Her name is Manonmani. And another verse from the Mulagama, Manonmani Dhyana, describes ध्यायेत् देवीं त्रिनेत्रां शशिनिभवदनां वेदहस्तां ददानां सव्ये पद्मां वरदमपरे चाभयां चाक्षमालां विभूषिततनुं ब्रह्मादिभिः पूजितां देवीमेव मनोन्मणिं प्रतिदिनं कामार्थदात्रीं शुभाम्. The translation for this verse, I meditate on Devi with 3 eyes, glowing like a moon and holding the Veda, lotus, and gracing with blessing and gracing hands. She is wearing beautiful ornaments. She is worshipped by Brahma and other many gods, and showers auspicious boons for all actions every day. Divine element of gold is used in the worship of scriptures. So let us look at this scriptural reference from the Atharva Veda which describes the significance of this divine element of gold. This verse says, Tredajutam janmanedam hiranyam agnirekam priyatamam babhuva somasyaikyam insitasya parapatata apamekam veda samveta ahutat trividastvaivishe. The translation for this verse, triply born by birth is gold. From the atoms of Agni is one. It becomes dearest to Agni. One fell away from the Soma when it was hurt. One they call the seed of virtuous and powerful Apa, the watery molecules. Let that triple gold be for your long life. The gold is a divine and spiritual power of healing and enlightenment. The vibration of gold has the power to infuse sattva energy and positive thought currents in anyone who wears it and in anyone who sees or operates in its vicinity. Agamas, Shrutis, Smritis, Itihas is the most hostile, which purifies our being. In the Hindu civilization, everything was built in gold, exchanged in gold, ritual feasts were offered in gold bricks. When one was to be saved from life-threatening illnesses, gold was offered as a ritual fee. Gold was in abundance and used for weighing equivalent amounts of commodities, including cows. Kingdoms were built with huge doors of gold. The streets would have huge columns and huge archways made of gold. The horses and cows were dressed in gold. And the Hindu civilization thrived on the banks of rivers of gold. The Indus River was called Hiranmaya, the river of gold in Rig Veda. The river Saraswati was called Hiranyavartini in Atharva Veda. Gold is the supreme element for offering gifts to the ones you love and revere. The temples are constructed and paved in gold, last forever. So now let us look at the various traditional offerings that you can offer to Devi Parashakti today on the website. Get ready to receive the darshan of Devi Parashakti. You can make any of these traditional offerings as your explicit sentiments while you prepare to receive the darshan of Devi Parashakti. So the e-hundi offerings are similar to the hundi offerings in any traditional Hindu temple, where you can offer any amount of your choice and you can offer make the offerings in multiple through the e-hundi offering. And Devi is described as the one who is fond of true devotion. So let us look at this verse which describes Devi's love for true devotion. Bhakti Priya Bhakti Gamya Bhakti Vashya Bhayapaha Shambhavi Sharadharadhya Sharvani Sharmadaini. The translation for this verse, Devi is fond of true devotion and is realized through true devotion. She can be won over through true devotion and she removes all fear. If there's any fear in the minds of devotees, Devi is sure to remove the bottom of our lives when our thought more and more inwards. The role for the divine is known and understood clearly. Here means the one who is worshipped by Devi Sharada herself. Devi is the wife of Lord Shiva, being a Purana who bestows happiness on devotees. And you can offer your gratitude and devotion to Devi Parashakti by offering your kanika, your token of gratitude through the e-hundi offerings, and be blessed with all the auspiciousness and grace of Devi Parashakti being showered on. Offering of the conscious resolution. And this verse from the Devi Mahatmya, chapter 12, verse 34 describes Sayaitan mohyate vishvam shaiva vishvam prasuyate saya chitta cha vijanam tushtarudhim prayaschati. The translation for this verse, the goddess enchants this universe and she herself gives birth to this universe. That goddess being prayed without interest in anything gives that knowledge that leads to salvation and gives wealth in the materialistic sense. Of Sankalpa, the conscious resolution blesses the person offering with all the fruition of the desire and wishes that he is yearning for. And the next offering to Devi Parashakti is the offering of the Sahasranama Swarna Kasu. This is the offering of the pure gold coin inscribed with the sacred name of Devi Parashakti. One of her offerings can be made on the website also. And in the Lalita Sahasranama, Devi is described as Nama Parayana Prita, she who likes the latest repetition of her names. Offering of the Sahasranama Swarnakasu, the gold coin, pure gold coin inscribed with names of Devi Parashakti. This is a very special and unique offering of the gold coin inscribed with one of the 1008 sacred names of Devi Parashakti, and receive the blessings of imbibing the Ananta Kalyana Gunas, the divine qualities of Devi Parashakti herself. And you can make this offering in any of 3 different denominations, and you can offer any number of coins as you would like to offer. This offering can be made on the website www.kailasamailer.com/devas. The gold finger ring embedded with pearl. And this verse describes the beauty of Devi Parashakti adorned with pearls. It says, Muktahara lasat kirita ruchiram purnendu vaktra prabham shinjannu purakinkini manidharam padma prabhabhasuram sarvabhita palapradam girisutam vani rama sevitam Meenakshim pranatosmi santatamaham karunyavaram nidhim. The translation of this verse: I bow to the goddess Meenakshi, whose crown has garlands of pearls, and the face shining like a full moon, who wears anklets that are studded with gemstones and has small, the daughter of the mountain, who is worshipped by goddesses Vani and Rama. I remain ever bowing to the goddess Meenakshi, the ocean of compassion. And you can make this offering of the angut, the gold finger ring embedded with pearl, to Devi Parashakti, as you be blessed and showered by her compassion, pure love in all your business endeavors. So you can make this offering of the Mukta Anguti in 3 different sizes, and we can also register for this on the website www.kailasamailer.com/sevas. And the Kanika Agama verse describes the significance of the gold lotus. It says, Ashtavidyeshwaropeta kumbha varana samyutam sarve sasutra vastradhya hema pankajabhushitaha sapidhanas purachascha bhakva bilva palaprabha snapanadhyaya samsiddha pramanena samanvitaha. The translation of this verse: all the kalashas should be wound around with suitable thread and covered with a new cloth. They should be adorned with a lotus flower made of gold. For using the lotus in the worship of Paramashiva, almost everything in the worship of the ultimate, involving the consecration of deities of worship or meditating on the mudras and asanas used during worship, involves the lotus flower. The lotus leaf, the lotus pericarp, the lotus petals. The lotus is a divine flower in the Vedic tradition. Shakti of Paramashiva is also called the lotus. Base of Paramashiva Linga is a lotus. The disciple of Paramashiva is also considered a lotus, one who is about to bloom. And you can offer the gold lotus in any of this as you wish, any and every adverse situations in life. So you can make the offering of the gold lotus, the Swarna Padma Pushpa, on the website www.kailasamailer.com/sevas. The next of the sacred lotus feet of Devi Parashakti is described in this verse. It says, Nakadhititi sanchanna namajjana tamo guna pala para kritasaroruha. The verse, you whose brightness from the toenails destroys, you whose brightness from your 2 feet overpowers that of the lotus flower too. And you can make this offering of the gold touring the sacred lotus feet of Devi Parashakti and be in constant gratitude for make this offering on the website www.kailasamila.com/sevas. To Devi Parashakti is the offering of the Swarna Mangtika, the gold hairline jewelry. And Devi is described as Sudha Sharabhivarshini, she who makes nectar flow in all our nerves from the Sahasrara, she who gives the very pleasant Sahasrara, which is fully opened with the sacred sentiment of gratitude. And you can offer the Swarnamangtika to Devi Parashakti and receive the blessings of achieving the blissful state of overflowing gratitude in the space of complete completion. And you can make this offering on the website www.kailasamila.com/sevas. The next traditional offering to Devi Parashakti is the offering of the Pratyaksha Pada Puja. The Saundarya Lahari verse Shloka 83 states that the nails of Devi Parashakti have been sharpened by constantly being touched by the crowns of celestial beings who always prostrate before Devi. Tamoguna in this verse is the darkness, and it is indicative of the ignorance in the minds of devotees. And by constantly prostrating before Devi, their ignorance is removed and they attain the ultimate knowledge. Offering the Pratiksha. This is the Yajaman with all the auspiciousness and blessings of Devi Parashakti and the Nijavatar of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhana Holiness Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam. From disciple to guru, and you can make this on the website. W of Sevas is the offering of the Vastra Seva, which is the offering of the sacred cloth. And the offering of the Vastra Seva is a traditional offering which blesses the devotee with the offering. The Yajaman is blessed with all the auspiciousness and blessings Devi Parashakti and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhana, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam. So you can make the offering of the Vastra Seva, the offering of the So here you can see the various offerings that can be made to Devi Parashakti on the website, the traditional offerings. The e-hundi can be offering can be made in any amount and in multiple currencies. The Sankalpa chanting is the offering of the conscious resolution which can be made on the website. The Devi Sahasranama Kasu, the offering of the pure gold coin inscribed with one of the 1008 sacred names of Devi Parashakti. The Mukta Anguti, the gold fingering embedded with different spices. The Swarna Padma Pushpa, the gold lotus flower, which can also be offered in 3 different sizes. The Swarna Metti, the gold touring for the sacred lotus feet of Devi Parashakti. The Swarna Mangtika, the gold hairline jewelry representing gratitude to the Vastra Seva, which is the offering of the sacred cloth. And all of these offerings can be made on the website www.kailasamila.com/sevas. And here you can see the website www.kailasamailer.com/sevas, and you can scroll offerings for Devi Parashakti. You can click on this link on step 2 as well for the traditional offerings of ornaments and sevas to Devi Parashakti. And if you'd like to make an intention to make an offering today and be blessed to receive blessings and grace of Devi Parashakti to manifest your intention into, fill in the form on step 1. And once you've made your traditional offerings, if you would like to make the conscious resolution for yourself and your family members, you can fill out the sankalpa on the form on step 3. So the dollars, Australian dollars, New Zealand dollars, Canadian dollars, euros, Indian rupees, Singaporean dollars, Malaysian ringgits, Great Britain pound, and Chinese yen. And you can make this offering in any of the any amount of your choice. And we can also make the offerings of the traditional ornaments and sevas to Devi Parashakti on the website. You can make the offering of the Devi Sahasranama Swarnakasi, the Mukta Anguti, the gold finger ring with the gold hairline, the Swarnameti, the gold toe ring for Devi Parashakti, the Swarnamangtika, the gold hairline jewelry, the Pratyaksha Pada Puja, and the Vastra Seva, and any of the traditional offerings you can offer to Devi Parashakti on the website by clicking on the links on step 2. And the website is www.kailasamailer.com/sevas. And now, with this, let us get ready to find out more about the various festivals for the well-being of the and the Kailasas all over the world for the well-being of humanity. And let us find out more about all of this from the de facto spiritual embassies of Kailas. So let us now get ready for the next segments and also get ready to prepare to receive the darshan of Devi Parashakti.
Nithyanandam. Welcome back to the segment of Kailasa's COVID Care Protection Centers, which are de facto spiritual embassies of Kailasa. His Divine Holiness Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam blessings. Let's start with the Sadguru Vandanam. Nithyanandam Paramasagadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Svandvatitam Gagana Sadusham Tattvamasya Dilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Triguna Sadgurum Tam Namami. So what will you learn from this segment today? What are the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism solutions for global peace? The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's spiritual solution is Kailasa's contributions. Join Kailasa's COVID Care Protection Centers. The crisis that we are under today, the aftermath of the world are facing disastrous Now, let us see some of the statistics and current news. Australia reported new record number of coronavirus cases recently when the country continues to battle the third wave of the coronavirus. The World Health Organization makes a big statement about Delta variant of COVID-19. That the World Health Organization recently said that the Delta variant of coronavirus has elbowed out all which are being sequenced. Less than 1% of alpha, beta, and gamma are currently circulating. It's really predominantly Delta around the world, said the World Health Organization technical lead on COVID-19, Maria Van Kerkhove. COVID-19 has now killed more Americans than the influenza pandemic did. The coronavirus pandemic than the 1918 Americans and killed an estimated 0.65% with 675,000 deaths. COVID-19 has infected more than 12% of Americans, 0.2% with 676,000 deaths. Now that the US pandemic has killed more Americans than the 1918 to 19 influenza pandemic did, Axios and other Associated Press both reported the grim milestone recent pandemic as death toll crosses that of 1918 to 19 influenza flu did. People infected with alpha variant exhales 100 times more virus into the air than the original COVID strain, says a study. The University of Maryland researchers suggested vaccination to help stop spread of the virus. 6 feet distance may not be enough, about 6.5 feet may not be enough to sufficiently prevent transmission of virus carrying airborne aerosols indoors, according to a study. COVID-19 Delta variant still most concerning, says the World Health. Even with the emergence of the new COVID-19 variant, the World Health Organization said recently. COVID-19 pandemic is nowhere under control in the United States, says the Chief Medical Advisor Anthony Fauci. He said, right now we are still in pandemic mode because we have 160,000 new infections a day in good control. In an interview with ACT of the virus, with over 4 million infections adding up in the past few weeks. The increase in COVID cases comes as the US administration earlier this month announced that it is planning to provide booster shots of the vaccine as the Delta variant has become dominant in the nation and is wreaking havoc. The surge in Delta variant is driven by the low vaccination coverage in many communities across the United States, according to the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. In a country of us, you can't be 1,000 before you start feeling comfortable. According to a report on COVID-19 made the World Economic Forum report, COVID-19 made the world less peaceful. You can see from this graph that COVID-19 violent incidences and fatalities in January 2020 to April 2021. You can see a sudden spike in the April. The violent incidents related to the pandemic peaks in April 2020. Younger adults are more likely to report symptoms of anxiety and or depressive disorder during the COVID-19. Average share of adults reporting symptoms of anxiety disorder and or depressive disorder, what it was January to June 2019 was 11%, and now it rose up to 4% in just 1 month in January 2021. Nearly 8 in 10 stress in America, a national health crisis. 8 in 10, that's about 78, say the coronavirus pandemic is a big stress over the course of the COVID-19 could exacerbate doctors' existing mental health burden. More than 60,000 contracted COVID-19 and 300 have died. Of the health workers who have treated patients during the China's COVID-19 outbreak, 50% showed signs of depression and 45% showed signs of anxiety. Self-reported mental health among pregnant women and new mothers. Before COVID-19 pandemic, depression was 1% and the anxiety was 29%, and now it rose up to 72% during with focus on school or work and avoiding distractions. And 55% of all students do not know where to go for help for their mental health. Nearly 82% of women surveyed said their lives have been negatively disrupted by the pandemic. Nearly 70% of women who have experienced these disruptions are concerned their career growth may be as a result. The globe into recession, with per capita income contracting the fraction of the countries globally since 1870. International Labour Organization a threat to peace building in conflict affected nations. In Mumbai, coming back to India, the city mayor, third wave of COVID is already upon Mumbai, pointing to a sudden spike in case and regarding the matter had already been made in Nagpur. Speaking after, the mayor urged people to remain in their homes. The mandals have been asked to allow only 10 people and have them work in shifts. Breakthrough infections found in 25% of health staff. A little over 25% of healthcare workers were infected with coronavirus despite getting fully vaccinated. A recent study has revealed, giving an insight on the breakthrough infection due to the Delta variant, and maximum hospitals in Delhi NCR found that the vaccination breakthroughs were far more common during the Delta outbreak in Delhi than previously reported. A new coronavirus strain known as Mu, which was first identified in Colombia in January, had been designated a variant of the organization. Now that we have seen the statistics across the world, the grim reality of the pandemic, not only it is affecting the health. So how do we cope up with current COVID-19 pandemic? So it is important to address the COVID pandemic, which is seeing another wave, destroying many more lives. Quantity of Hinduism says the pandemic fatigue setting in as a result of corona is resulting in putting this phase of delusional decisions like, so what, if I die, it's okay. I can't live forever in this lockdown. Going out and then exposing oneself and putting the risk on yourself and responsibility and inauthenticity is the delusional arrogance. The global COVID virus pandemic has left the whole world desperately looking for answers. Evidence even back in February 2020 is no longer recognizable. Drastic change is the order of the day, with people having to redefine their world with new paradigms of economy, society, faith, religion, and health. Shiva, the supreme pontiff of Hinduism, in their lives to carry them through this crisis. To join the Kailasa's COVID Care Protection Centers at the https://.org/Kailasa care. We start now, making peace with the nature. Even amid pandemic, 2021 can go down as the year environmental, societal, economic challenges are interlinked. They must be tackled together. For example, we cannot achieve the sustainable developmental goals, including ending poverty by 2030, if climate change and ecosystem collapse are undermining food and water supplies in the world's poorest countries. We have no choice but to transform our economic and societies by valuing nature and putting its health at the heart of all our decisions. Now let's watch a small clip. United States mid COVID, we need enhanced international coordination to build peace. Tackling the pandemic and building resilience in fragile states requires concerted international action at local, national, and global levels. As the humanitarian and economic toll of the COVID-19 pandemic continues to grow, so does the risk that this crisis will fuel new conflict around the world while stemming prospects for resolving ongoing ones. And universal health coverage must be a priority. Remarks to the General Assembly special session in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. For the first time since 1945, the entire world is confronted by a common threat, regardless of the nationality, ethnicity, and faith. A new social contract between people, governments, the private sector, civil society, and more can tackle the root with fair taxation on income and wealth, universal benefit for all, to the global peace and the mental health and physical health, and many other issues that the world is facing today. International peace and security. Vedic tradition beautifully describes Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani ivanu pushyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tadona vigagupshate. Isha Upanishad verse 6. Global peace is the byproduct of individual bliss. The spiritual bliss. He manifests a beautiful, peaceful life for him. If he is powerful